Now, these probably look familiar to you. In addition to being essential music notation tools, they're also very recognizable symbols of music in general, and are often used in graphics and other imagery associated with music. Visuals aside, we use them in music notation to provide a location range for the notes on the staff, which we'll learn all about in a moment. Let's first learn what they are. The one on the left is called the treble clef, and as you will see, we use it to specify a range of notes above middle C. On the right, we have the bass clef. You've probably heard the term bass used in reference to a lower range of notes or sounds, and sure enough, this clef gets used to indicate a range of notes below middle C. Here they are, stationed in their usual positions on the grand staff. The bass clef on the lower set of lines and the treble clef on the upper set. Now, the precise location of these symbols is actually very important, as where they visually line up with the lines and spaces of the staff is meant to be exact. What we're going to do when using the clefs to learn about the location of notes is to use what's known as the landmark note method of learning. Let's briefly look at all of the notes encompassed by the bass and treble clefs on the grand staff. As you can see, it's a lot of notes, and even within the ones you can see here, there are more when we start using accidentals, that is, sharps and flats. So, we definitely don't want to just try to memorize all of these notes. Using the landmark method, we'll learn specific notes of importance so that we can more easily find our way to the ones in between. Now, before we continue, there are several ways of learning the notes on the staff, and some of them may at first seem easier. I'll mention a few of them at the end of the lesson in case you want to include them in your learning. However, in my experience, using the landmark method is the best blend of efficiency and learning quality, meaning that you can learn the notes relatively quickly and you can really learn how they're related using this method. Okay, let's get started. You'll notice that there is a small keyboard now at the bottom of the screen, and this will get filled in with the same notes that go onto the grand staff so that you can easily see the notes associated with the keyboard keys. Remember our quote-unquote most important note of middle C? Well, that's what we're going to mark first. Middle C is located here, right in between the two staves. Middle C is featured on a little line called a ledger line, which is what we use to extend the staves in one direction or the other. Middle C is located one ledger line below the treble clef and one ledger line above the bass clef, like this. But in reality, it's right in between the two staves, so that's what you'll be seeing for the rest of the lesson. Now, I know it looks like there's actually a bunch of space between the staves, but in reality, that distance is only as big as one more line, like this. When seen in the music, we stretch things out so that we can fit things in between the staves, which is why you have two different versions of middle C depending on whether you're reading treble clef or bass clef, and this will become quickly more clear as we progress. Okay, so let's find our next most important landmark notes after middle C. If you look at the treble clef and use your imagination a bit, and try to envision it as a letter, which letter would you come up with? I hear a pretty common series of C or S or things like that, but if you trace around the curve and the swirl, you can kind of see that it's a very stylized G. Notice that the swirl is actually targeting a particular line, and sure enough, that line is our G line, where the note G rests. Specifically, this is the G above middle C. This one right here. And it will always be this note anytime you're looking at a standard treble clef. I'll repeat that. Whenever you're reading notes in the treble clef, the line targeted by the swirl in the clef is the G above middle C. It's one of the most important landmark notes because it's one of the few that are actually given to you by the clefs themselves, so it's really worth trying to remember. Okay, now let's look at the bass clef. Same idea here, but now you really need to use your imagination to think of the letter this could be. If you straighten the curved line out a bit and think of the dots as being parts of lines, you can sort of see this as an F. And if you follow the second line from the top through the little bulb on the left side of the symbol and through the middle of the two dots, that is our F line. Once again, this is a specific F. This one here, the F below middle C. Thanks for watching this lesson from Liberty Park Music. If you enjoyed this lesson and learned something from it, do us a favor, hit that like button. And if you really liked it, share it around. Let your friends and family check it out too. If you want to find more lessons like this or explore other piano-related topics, please come visit us at libertyparkmusic.com. We have full piano courses ranging from beginner to more advanced levels, and everything is online and streaming 24/7 so that you can design your music learning around your schedule and learn in the comfort of your own home from a talented roster of professional teachers and musicians. Come check us out.